Well, welcome back to the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. I'm Charlie as always, and I'm joined by Jack. Jack, how you doing, mate?
I'm fine, mate. Just missing the Hibs a wee bit, but apart from that, I'm fine.
Good. And we've also got a special guest on the podcast today. We've got Hibs women goalkeeper Emily Mutch, Tynecastle hero. How are you doing, Emily?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. Nice to have you on. So before we jump into the talking about Hibs, Emily, we'd love to just have a wee section on getting to know you for our listeners and potentially for some young girls who are listening who would love to get to know more about one of their footballing heroes. So before we jump into that, we'd love to know what made you fall in love with football as a young girl?
I don't know. I started playing football because, kind of for the wrong reasons, just because one of my friends was starting. So I just went along to football. I think it was primary 2 I started with one of the boys in my class, and then I just kind of kept playing from there, and I just really enjoyed it. I probably didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but I did. And then after that, I went and joined a girls team, West Dyke Girls. I think I was 9, joined their team, and then it just kind of went from there.
Class. And you probably get this a lot, but what made you choose goalkeeper?
So I wasn't actually a goalkeeper to start with. I used to play striker, and then I was a winger, kind of just floating about. But it was more, I didn't really choose it. It was more, nobody in my team wanted to go in goal. So I went in one time and I was actually quite good and I enjoyed it. So I've just kind of stuck at it since then.
Class. And do you have any goalkeeping idols?
I get asked that quite a lot, but I actually don't. Not really.
Okay. So obviously playing football from a young age, who was your favourite footballer growing up?
It's quite a random one, but I'm a Man U fan as well. So when I was younger, when I was a striker, I used to be number 9, and I used to love Dimitar Berbatov for some reason.
Oh, class.
Because he was number 9 for Man U, I think that's why.
Nice. And you mentioned supporting Man U. Do you have a Scottish team?
Aberdeen, because that's where I'm from. So
okay. As long as it's no Rangers or Hearts, that's all good. So, Emily, what would you say are your best traits as a goalkeeper?
I'd say probably, overall, I'm very hardworking. I'll not give up. I just keep going, focus on myself and stuff. In terms of actually as a goalie, I don't know. I'd say shot stopping, I'm pretty strong with that, and then distribution is quite good as well. So nice. With my feet and stuff.
And at just 20, you've already had an impressive career so far. You know, you've represented Scotland at under 17s and 19s, and you played for Celtic and Hearts as well. So where do you see your career going in the future?
I think football is definitely what I want to do. Obviously, I'm at uni just now, so I'm finishing that off. But then hopefully I'll go into more. I do want to get a full-time professional contract. That's obviously my main goal, and see how far I can go, really.
Nice. And do you hope that you can eventually break into the senior Scotland fold?
Yeah, of course. Always that's always an aim, but I'm just going to keep working hard and see what happens.
Class. Well, so that's sort of the end of that get to know you section, and I think that for our listeners, they'll get to know a lot from that. So I'm just going to pass you over to Jack, and he's got a few questions more Hibs related.
Yeah.
So, obviously, to the important stuff talking about Hibs, but first of all, I'd like to say you've gone a bit like Manuel Neuer, playing outfield and then going back into goalkeeper. That's what I was thinking there. So we'll just start off. And this one's from Charlie's little brother, Jack Banks, on Instagram. He wanted to ask, this is obviously you made the move across the Edinburgh Derby divide from Hearts to Hibs, so from the wrong side of town to the right side of town. What made you choose Hibs?
Well, at the time when I was at Hearts, I really enjoyed my time there, but I don't know, I was kind of it was at the start of all the COVID stuff. It was quite unsettled at Hearts at the time. So then when Dean came in for me and I spoke to him and stuff, I just really liked the sound of what he had to offer, and I know a few of the girls there already, and I knew it was pretty good standard and stuff. So yeah, just kind of thought it was what was right for me at the time.
And it's the right team in Edinburgh as well, so you were winning all round there. So next question for you is, obviously last season, as you sort of touched on there, was heavily disrupted by COVID. Did you find it challenging, going to a new club at such a turbulent time? Obviously the season was quite heavily disrupted, start, stop, and we had all injuries and everything like that, and there was no fans. So did you find it quite challenging to be at a new club?
Yeah, I'd say it was quite hard, because obviously at the time COVID was on as well. The National Performance Academy wasn't on. I didn't really have anywhere to stay in Edinburgh, so it was quite tough. But no, Hibs helped me out. I stayed in the Hibs flat for a bit, and then kind of got in training with the girls to start with, and then obviously towards the end of the year, we got games and then it stopped at the start of the year, and then, but no, it was very stop-start. I think that was quite challenging, but we done a lot of training like during the time we were off as well, so that definitely helped. But yeah, once we got going again, it was quite hard because obviously we were having like 3 games in a week. Like that was quite tough as well, and I was playing for injury as well at that point. So, but it ended up okay, but it was a bit tough.
It was a funny season that, and it was quite a hard one to sort of follow because of all the stopping and starting. So next question is, you had sort of big gloves to fill coming into Hibs after Jenna Fife, and obviously you were coming alongside Sophie Allison as well. Was there any pressure for you, obviously coming in after such a big name in Scottish football, and how did you feel adapting to that role of Jenna Fife's successor?
Yeah, no, I think obviously Jenna Fife's really good, but I didn't feel pressure or anything. I just kind of like, I know what I can do. So I just came in with that attitude, like I know what I can do, I'll work hard. So that's all I could really do. But no, I know what I'm capable of. So I was pretty happy coming in.
No, that's good to hear. That's a good answer as well. I like that. I like the confidence there. So my next question for you is, after Sophie Allison left to go out on loan to Glasgow Women, you were the only goalkeeper in the team. So how did that sort of feel for you, knowing that was it? You were the starting goalie and you didn't really have any other people behind you. And did that actually put pressure on you as well? Because you obviously mentioned playing through injury and the volume of games. So what was that period sort of like when you were the only goalkeeper really at the club?
I think it was obviously challenging being the only goalie, but I really enjoyed it because it kind of gave me confidence knowing every week I'd be playing. But I think I grew a lot last season in terms of the amount of games I played and stuff. But it was obviously challenging. Like I played for injury, as I said, I had a bit of a niggle on my quad. But I'm just glad I got through it, and I'm happy with how I did. So yeah.
I think I was really impressed last season. I thought you took it on really well because obviously I was watching the team throughout, and I thought you took the pressure of being the only goalkeeper on really, really well. And it was actually good to see you play because obviously I hadn't seen much of you before Sophie had left. So I thought it was really, really good. So the next question for you is, obviously you're not the only goalkeeper anymore. Gabby English came over in the summer. So how does it feel to have competition for the starting goalkeeper spots? This is sort of a two-part, and then the second part is, how do you and Gabby sort of work together on the training pitch?
Obviously it's good to have competition. I think obviously I want to play as much as I can, like that's always my aim, but a bit of healthy competition is always good because we push each other in training as well. Me and Gabby, we get on really well, so training's always good to have a good laugh, and we both work hard, so that's good as well.
That's good to hear. And have you learned anything from Gabby? Mostly I think to project your voice is one that Gabby's really good at. So have you learned are you going to start shouting like Gabby when you're out on the pitch now?
Yeah, I know Gabby's very loud, so yeah, that's one thing that I'll take from her.
That's a good one. I was actually quite shocked because obviously I'm used to Scottish goalkeepers, and the first game that Gabby played, I was like, oh my god, sitting there, because I obviously hadn't seen American goalkeepers, but I've learned about it now that American goalkeepers are usually the loudest player on the pitch. So I think it's brilliant. And my next question for you is, what has been your favourite moment in a Hibs shirt so far?
I think that's got to be the game at Tynecastle. Obviously saved the free kick, and then I was down. I didn't really know what was going on, and the ref blew the whistle. I thought it was a free kick to me, but it was a penalty for, I think it was a handball by Leah Eddy, I think it was, but I just didn't really know what was going on. And then obviously I'd been down, and then it was a penalty. It was put up and down, and then I saved the penalty, but no, I was delighted with that, and yeah, it was really enjoyable.
That was a good night, and of course you got I think just about the same amount of boos, if not more, than Shiv when you lay down on the ball. So what was that like, being in that sort of hostile atmosphere, or did you just take it all in your stride?
It doesn't really bother me, like getting booed, just like you kind of thrive off it, like to keep going, and it's quite funny. But obviously we were 2-1 up, so it was close towards the end, and then I was just glad when Ailey got that third goal and gave us a bit of breathing space. But when it was 2-1, you need to waste time, don't you? Or else you never know.
I think that's the right way of going about it. And it was good. I was getting quite good entertainment from that in the stands, to be honest. I suppose it's like if Craig Gordon had come to Hibs or Matt Macy had went to Hearts as well. In that respect, you're an ex-Hearts player, which made it a bit better as well, that you were sort of wasting a bit of time. So I thought it was quite good. So I'll actually talk more about that performance at Tynecastle, that heroic performance at Tynecastle. So how did you feel when you saw yourself on the starting 11 on the team sheet? That must have been like, was it a surprise, or did you sort of been talking to Dean about you starting, or what was sort of going on there?
I wouldn't say I was surprised, because I know like in training and stuff I worked so hard, and like I perform every week in training. So I was kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I was kind of like relieved to see my name because I was like, I'm finally like getting a chance and stuff like that. But nah, I was just excited and like I felt really confident going into it because I've been training really, really well for weeks. So I knew that I would play well. So I felt confident going into it. But yeah, I was delighted.
And that is good because I thought it was like good that both you and Gabby got an experience in the Edinburgh Derby because obviously Gabby started at Easter Road and then you started at Tynecastle. So I think that was good to see and you really stepped up to play. I was really happy while you played because like I said, it's been great to see you playing last season as well. So I thought it was like I said, a heroic performance that will go down in history as probably one of the better performances the Hibs keepers put in at Tynecastle. So if you want to give Matt Macy any tips for the upcoming Edinburgh Derby, you're more than welcome. So next sort of question for you, following on from that, is what were your feelings after the final whistle? You know, another Derby win and at Tynecastle as well, and you had all the Hibs fans clapping you and everything. So what was the feelings when that final whistle went?
No, I was so happy. Like, I think it was when Ailey was down with her ankle, Roddy pulled me over and he was like, literally just going to enjoy the last like 2 minutes of the game. Like, you've got us here and all that. And I was just, yeah, no, I was really happy with it. And then obviously the final whistle went, I was just happy we got the 3 points. And then obviously going up, seeing everyone was really good as well. Seeing some of the younger kids as well. It's nice to see. So, yeah.
That's what it's all about to me. It was great to see that, and it was a great atmosphere when we won. You know, I think sometimes I know it's a derby, but sometimes it can be like hostile. But it wasn't. It was just a good night for women's football, like the game at Easter Road as well to me. So it was great to see that. So the next question for you, and this is probably the most important question. This is sort of the last question before we move on to the listener ones. Is that penalty save? What was your sort of technique in the penalty save? And did you try and psych the Hearts player out, or was it just a case of goalkeeper's luck? What was your sort of technique when you saved the penalty?
Nah, I think like I'm not really into psyching people out. Like I just kind of do my own thing and just focus on myself in that situation. But nah, we do penalties in training quite a lot, and I always do quite well. So I felt quite confident with it. I think one of the girls from Hearts, I heard she said to the ref, she was like, what was it? She was like, I think it would be easier if that just went in for us or something. I said, but it's not going in anyway. So that was the only psyching out I did. But nah, I just kind of picked a side and went. I was going to go the other way, but based on our body position. But then I was like, I thought to go the way I went first, and if I didn't go, I would be annoyed at myself if they went that way. But no, I was just delighted to save it, to be honest. And yeah.
I think you wrote yourself into Hibs folklore there that night as well with that penalty save. So when I get the goalkeeper shot, it's Mutch on the back, definitely. That's got to happen. So like after that, like well, of course there was a bit of a scramble. You managed to save the sort of rebound as well, and then we got a free kick. And when you had a chance to reflect, what were your sort of feelings when you realised this is sort of like a game changing moment? Because obviously it turned out to be quite important with Hearts getting the goal back in the second half that you saved the penalty. So what were your sort of reflections on it when you look back on it?
100%. Yeah, when I think about it, like it was actually quite an important part of the game as well, because if they scored right before half time, it completely changes the game. Like we were 2-0 up, but that was like what in the last 10 minutes before half time, if they get a goal, then that's like a crucial time in the game, and they come out almost not on top in the second half, but like they come out with more momentum and stuff. But nah, I was just delighted to save it, and obviously at that time kept the clean sheet intact going into the second half. But yeah, it took me a while to settle back down again after that because I was so happy with it. But yeah,
I could imagine. No, so I thought it was like I said, it's brilliant, and you've become a Hibs hero with that one as well. So you're putting yourself up there with players like goalkeepers like Ophir Marciano and younger and everything in terms of being a Hibs hero. So I thought it was brilliant. So we'll just move on to our listener questions because we put up on Twitter and Instagram that we'd be getting you on, so we're getting some questions from the listeners. So first one is from LG and Cow 5456 Hibs fan via Twitter, and he asks, this is sort of we've touched on this, but it would be great to expand on this. Describe the emotions of conceding and saving a penalty at Tynecastle in the Edinburgh Derby.
Yeah, like I say, I never knew at the time it was a penalty. I was just down, and then when I got up, Siobhan was saying something to the ref. I was like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Oh, it was a handball. It's a penalty." I was like, at first I thought I'd given the penalty away, and I was so confused because I thought it was a foul to me. It was literally a 50-50. But no, I was glad I hadn't given it away. But nah, when they were lining up to penalty, I felt confident. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I kind of felt in my head I would save it. Because like when you're doing it in training a lot as well, and like you're saving it in training, it gives you confidence like that you can actually go and do it in a game as well. So no, but when I did save the penalty, I was just thinking about the second one after that, trying to get that away, and then obviously I've got that and got a foul. So no, I was delighted with the save, and yeah, like I say, it was a crucial time in the game, so I think it was important for the overall result as well.
Yeah, I thought it was weird when it was given as a penalty. I didn't actually see the handball, which looking back, I still can't really see why it was given. But I was really confused because I had thought you'd been fouled. So when the referee blew the whistle, I thought, oh, we've got a free kick. And then I turned around and seen all the Hearts players like lining up, and Siobhan obviously arguing with the referee, which wasn't a surprise when I seen her going over the ref. But I was like, what's going on? So yeah, it was really weird. But yeah, you saved us there. So these next two questions both come from P Dizzle on Twitter. So the first one is, what advice would you have for young female goalkeepers?
I would say just like keep working hard and focus on yourself. Like, don't compare yourself to others, because when you do that, you start doubting yourself because you don't think you're doing enough. But just like everyone's like journey, and that's different. So just focus on yourself, and what was meant to be will be, and everything that you work hard for will get in the end.
That's good. That's good advice there. And perfect.
Aye, good Jack.
But what's the single piece of the best piece of advice you were given? That's from P Dizzle as well on Twitter.
I think the best piece of advice I was given is what I've just said. Like, just focus on yourself, because like when I was like younger, I used to compare myself to others too much and think about like other people that could potentially be in my position too much. Whereas like now I generally just focus on myself and what I can control, and that's probably the best advice I've had, because that's what's got me to where I am now.
I think that's a good attitude to have, especially like for me with goalkeepers, because a goalkeeper is always a position like, so if you're a centre half and you're not the first choice, if you're a striker and you're not the first choice, you know that you'll maybe get subbed on in a game. Whilst a goalkeeper, it's really only injuries or whatever that are going to force the sort of starting goalkeeper out. So I think that's a good attitude to have as a goalkeeper. So that's it for the questions. I'll hand you back to Charlie for our little sort of ending bit now.
Aye, so Emily, if people want to find you on social media, where can they find you on Twitter or Instagram or any other place?
Yeah, I've got Twitter. I think I don't even know what my username is. I think it's Emily with 2 Y's at the end _Mutch, and then I think my Instagram's the same as that.
Okay, and if you could sum up your last question from me, if you could sum up your time at Hibs so far in one word, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'd say enjoyable. Like, I've really enjoyed coming in. Like, I enjoy working with all the girls, and then obviously I'm just working hard now to get as many games as I can and hopefully perform like I did at Tynecastle. Yeah,
that's great. Well, that concludes our interview, Emily, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And for the listeners, we'll be back very soon with another review. Hopefully, we're allowed back in the ground soon, so some more matchday footage will be coming. But until next time, come on, Hibs.